Welcome back, Yappers. Welcome back to the Yap Trap podcast. I am your host, Jordan, and I am so excited for this episode. I know I literally say that every episode, but this episode is extra special. Number one, check the equipment. If you are listening, I hope that the sound audio is nice and crisp. To celebrate 10 episodes of the podcast, I actually got a brand new podcast microphone. And if you are watching on YouTube, then you will see my brand new microphone. It's like a handheld microphone, which is perfect for today's episode, because in today's episode we are going to be talking about Glee, in particular the most iconic moments of Glee, and I am just so excited to bring this episode into your ears today. So let's get into it. I have so many notes and I'm just so excited to talk everything Glee. So a couple of disclaimers before we jump into the meat of the episode. I will only be talking about the characters in the context of the show. A lot of horrific things have happened to the Glee cast over the years and I won't be touching on any of that. I'll only be talking about the TV show itself and the characters. If you want a serious and thoughtful analysis of this TV show, this is not the episode for you. This is just a fun, silly, ha-ha time. This episode is for the Gleeks. If you've never seen Glee before, then of course still watch the episode. Like, I'm sure you'll still love it, but there will be like a lot of Glee references in this episode. So if you're a Gleek, then stay tuned. Listen to my Glee playlist. I literally made a playlist called Yap Trap Certified Glee Bangers. It is linked down below in the description or in the show notes, wherever you're listening. You need to check out this playlist because it has the best Glee songs ever in this playlist. I have excellent taste. Please check out that playlist. There will be singing in this episode. Yeah, you've been warned. You've been warned. There will be singing. There will be singing. Look at this microphone and the context of this episode. We are going to be singing in this episode. My final disclaimer is that I wanted to cover so much more in this episode, but I simply would not have time to cover it all in this episode or even to get out the amount of notes that it would take. As soon as I started writing notes for this episode, I was like, oh my gosh, there is just so much to cover in the world of Glee. So I can't cover everything. So that is why I'm not covering everything. I'm not touching on everything. And in this episode, we are specifically going to be talking about the best episodes of Glee of all time. Unfortunately, I cannot chronologically cover the entire series of Glee. If you would like that, I really recommend that you check out this video by Mike's Mike. He does a 2-part series. Each video is 2 hours long and he literally covers the entire series of Glee. So if that's what you're looking for, please check out his video. Our structure for today is as follows: setting the stage, my personal glistery, iconic Gleeisms, the best ever Glee episodes of all time. So let's begin by setting the stage. Glee is a musical comedy drama series that follows the lives of a group of students and teachers in the fictional William McKinley High School's Glee Club, New Directions. Led by Spanish teacher Will Schuster, the club brings together a mix of misfits, popular kids, and outcasts who bond over their love of music while navigating friendships, romances, personal struggles, and social issues. Each episode features elaborate musical numbers covering pop hits, show tunes, and mashups.
25% show tunes, 25% hip-hop, 25% classic rock,
100% gay.
Ryan Murphy, Brad Fulchuk, and Ian Brennan co-created the show, and at its best, Glee is a satirical comedy, and those that get it, get it. Again, like I said at the top of this is not going to be some satirical, snarky Glee commentary. I am a massive fan of Glee, and we are essentially going to be fangirling over my favorite episodes of Glee for the next 45 minutes, so strap yourself in. I hope you're prepared. Let's get into it. Glee premiered on the 19th of May 2009 and ended on the 20th of March 2015, which is actually the perfect age for me because in 2009 I was 12 and in 2015 I was 18. So it really came out at a pivotal moment in my life as a teenager. So in total it had 6 seasons and 121 episodes. Early seasons of the show were praised for their originality, sharp humor, and ambitious musical performances. It was seen as fresh TV in 2009, blending satire, heartfelt drama, and over-the-top spectacle. It did also attract some criticism for inconsistent writing, reliance on stereotypes, and later seasons being not as high in quality as the earlier seasons. And I can personally attest to this. I think that the first 3 seasons of Glee are immaculate television, and I would still rewatch them to this day. However, seasons 4 to 6 are just not as good. Glee built a very passionate fan base, aka the Gleeks, and had a major cultural footprint during its run. And I think this was only exemplified because it really came out at the right time for Twitter and Tumblr fandoms, and there was such a There was so much community around Glee on Twitter and Tumblr, and because the episodes came out weekly, there was so much hype each time an episode was dropping that these online communities would gather and talk about the episodes and live tweet the episodes. The cast was quite active on social media, so it really came out at the right time to capitalize on social media. Glee has actually won quite a few accolades. So it won 4 Golden Globes, including Best Television Series, Musical or Comedy, and Acting Awards for Jane Lynch and Chris Colfer. It won 6 Primetime Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Supporting Actress for Jane Lynch. And it also received numerous nominations across the Emmys, the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards. So let's talk a little bit about my Glistery or history. Obviously, I am a Gleek, like we have established that. I remember watching the pilot episode when it first came out. I was 12 years old, sitting in my grandparents' lounge room, and I remember seeing ads for it on Channel 10 for quite a while before it came out, because this is when they used to hype shows up. Like they'd be like, this new show is coming, it's musical, it's set in high school, and I was like, I'm sat. I'm 100% sat. I was obviously a theatre kid in school. I was surprised. No, we're not. So this show had my name written all over it. I couldn't wait to watch this TV show. So when it came out, I was sat down. I was watching in real time. And I remember, like, I feel like this 1 hour of television forever changed me. I was just so besotted by this show immediately. As a fellow brunette with a penchant for performance, I really related to Rachel Berry and really connected with her character. I know, like, what does that say about me as a person? But whatever. Glee also introduced me to a lot of classic music that I wouldn't have known otherwise unless it was through this show. The show covered a wide range of musics, from older songs from the 70s, 80s, and 90s to current hits. So I learned a lot about older music and classic music from this TV show. The first time I ever heard a Beatles song was through the show Glee. And I remember my best friend at the time, she was a massive Beatles fan. She was like super cool and indie, whereas I was obviously cringe, like top 40 pop hits. Anyway, I remember being like, yeah, like I really like this Beatles song. It's called like Blackbird, and it's really good. Like I've and she's like, did you hear it off Glee? Like, is that where you got the song from? And I was like, yes. And she was disgusted. She was like, she could not believe that I'd heard this Beatles song through Glee, because she was a Glee hater, but that's all right. She just didn't get it. Satire, it's camp. I also learned a lot from Glee about self-acceptance, the LGBTQ plus community, and friendships and relationships. I was, as I said, at a pivotal age where I was learning a lot about these concepts for the first time by watching Glee. It covered a lot of serious issues, from eating disorders, coming out, having your first sexual experiences, bullying, and even family dynamics. I watched the show all through high school, and I did have the first 3 seasons on box set. They were my prized possessions, and I watched them over and over and over again. To this day, Glee frequently appears in my Spotify Wrapped as one of my top artists. Like, genuinely, every single year, my Spotify Wrapped, Glee cast are in there. So let's talk about some of the most iconic and absurd storytelling moments from Glee, the things that are burned into my memory from watching this series. Number 1 is the scene transition a cappella. That is just so reminiscent of Glee, and I just love it so much. Glee. Here's what you missed on Glee. I feel like the Here's what you missed on Glee was so iconic, and it was like the fast talking recap of the previous episodes. And as soon as you sat down and you heard that fast talking recap, and it was like, so Kurt and Rachel are doing this, and then Finn is doing this, and this is what the Glee Club is doing, and here's what you missed on Glee. And it was like, had that a cappella background. It was so iconic.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
Of course, I have to talk about TV's most iconic character of the mid-2000s, and that is Ms. Sue Sylvester. Oh my gosh, she had some bangers. She was such a funny character, and Jane Lynch actually did such a phenomenal job in that role. Like, Jane Lynch embodied that character. Sue Sylvester, with the matching tracksuits, how toxic she was, just the way that she acted that character was so funny. I am going to create an environment that is so toxic. So good.
I am going to create an environment that is so toxic. You know, there's only one person in this world who can tell you what you are. Me. No, me, Sue Sylvester.
The slushies being a recurring gag. Oh my gosh. I just remember like seeing that and thinking that was so cool. Like, obviously that was not a thing at my school. The bullies had different creative ways of picking on kids, but slushies were certainly not a thing at my school, because I feel like at my school, no one's going to waste $2 on a slushie by throwing it at someone. Like, if you're spending $2 on a slushie, you're drinking it. Like, you're not wasting it by throwing it at someone. But that was such an iconic Glee thing, being slushied. So another thing that is really random from Glee, but I just loved so much, is is that between season 1 and 2, Santana got a boob job and then Sue exclusively referred to her as sandbags from then on out. Like, that is just unhinged. Jeff Goldblum plays one of Rachel's dads. What? I forgot about that. Or maybe I just didn't know who Jeff Goldblum was when I first watched the series at age 12. And then upon rewatch, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Jeff Goldblum. In season 2, during the episode Blame It on the Alcohol, Principal Figgins is talking about Kesha and how the Glee Club is going to do a Kesha performance. And he's like, here we have Glee and they're going to be performing a song by K $, Ha, doing the song Tick and also Talk. And it's just so funny. Who thought of that?
Now performing the hit single Tick and also Talk by rapper K $, Ha.
So one of the guest stars in season 4 was actually Ms. Carrie Bradshaw herself, Sarah Jessica Parker. Like, the guest stars they used to get on this show were insane. Like, just some of the guest stars, just to name a few. They had Gwyneth Paltrow, iconic, Neil Patrick Harris, Britney Spears, Demi Lovato, Kate Hudson, and Sarah Jessica Parker. Like, how are they pulling such big names? But then again, back when the show was coming out, it was one of the biggest shows on television. When Sarah Jessica Parker was guest starring on the show, she appeared in a musical number called Let's Have a Kiki and Turkey Lurkey Time. Absolutely unhinged. It's a mashup of Let's Have a Kiki, Turkey Lurkey Time. Let's have a Kiki. I want to have a Kiki. Lock the doors tight. Let's have a Kiki. And then Rachel Berry comes through like, it's Turkey Lurkey Time. Unhinged scenes. I think that is part of the reason why I love Glee so much and am such a Glee supporter is the camp factor. You know, they're over the top, absolutely ridiculous plot points, but they're just so memorable and stick in my mind so much. And this is the thing with Glee. I feel like at the time, Glee was hated on a lot because it was considered to be quite cringy. And Glee was almost like a secret guilty pleasure for me growing up. I was like, oh my gosh, like so embarrassing. I watch Glee. But looking back on it, watching it back, it really is so camp. It's a little bit self-aware. Like, the first 3 seasons of Glee have a level of self-awareness that make it so funny and such TV gold. So moving on to the top episodes of Glee, like I said at the top of this episode, there is so much I could explore about Glee, but I simply do not have the time to cover the magnitude of slay that is Glee. So I have narrowed it down to the top episodes of Glee, and we're going to go through the plots of these episodes in great detail to relive the glory of the top episodes of Glee of all time. And if you disagree with my list, you are simply wrong. And one thing about the list as well, it is in sequential order of the show. So basically, it's not in order of my favorite because I love all of these episodes so much. It's just in order of when they appeared in the show. So it starts from season 1 and then goes to season 6. So let's get into it. My first favorite episode is, of course, the pilot episode, the episode that started it all, season 1, episode 1. And I genuinely think that the pilot episode of Glee is such a great pilot. Like, it just sets the scene so well and really shows you what this show is going to be. It really creates such a strong narrative from the get-go and paints a very clear picture of the characters, the school, everything. So we open at William McKinley High, where the Glee Club is basically on life support because the current director, Sandy Ryerson, just got fired for some deeply inappropriate behavior towards a male student. Enter Will Schuster, Spanish teacher and former Glee Club golden boy, and the Cardigans' biggest fan, who somehow convinces Principal Figgins to let him take over the Glee Club. This immediately puts him on Sue Sylvester's shit list. And the other person who is less than thrilled about this is actually Will Schuster's wife, Terry. She is essentially allergic to the idea of him wasting his time on a high school choir when he could be out making more money, but Will's not listening. He's got a dream. He rebrands the Glee Club to the New Directions and recruits a bunch of talent to be in the new club. We have Rachel Berry, who I'm trying to emulate today. I forgot to say that at the top of the show. We have a headband, a cardigan. I'm actually also wearing a pleated skirt. Don't know why I bothered. You can't see it. This is for people who are watching the video, obviously. But I'm feeling very Rachel Berry slay today, like very preppy. So we have Rachel Berry, Mercedes Jones, Kurt Hummel, Artie Abrams, and Tina Cohen Chang. And we get the most iconic audition sequence of each of them singing their chosen audition songs. Of course, Will wants that one big star to give the club a bit of credibility. Enter Finn Hudson, quarterback, human golden retriever, and as Will discovers in the locker room showers, a surprisingly good singer, which is actually debatable. Apparently, when Corey Monteith auditioned for Glee, he didn't actually send in a clip of him singing, so I don't think the creators of the show knew that he wasn't really that strong of a singer, but he honestly makes it work. Good on him. Does Will gently invite Finn to audition for the Glee Club? No, he does not. He plants weed in Finn's locker and then pretends to find the weed in his locker and then essentially blackmails him into joining the Glee Club, which is horrific. It's just like the first of many, many Will Schuester crimes across the series. And that is another really funny thing. When watching the series, I was like, wow, Will Schuester is such a good teacher. I would love to have a teacher like Will Schuester at my school. But then upon rewatch, you actually realize how unhinged Will Schuester is and how inappropriate he is. I love watching compilations on TikTok of like Will Schuester should be in jail, and it's just like a bunch of clips of him being so inappropriate. To motivate the brand new Glee Club, Will Schuester and Emma Pillsbury, the school guidance counselor, take the kids to go and see their competition, which is the infamous vocal adrenaline. And of course, the kids are super intimidated because vocal adrenaline are intense. They're actually so good. And Will's already questioning if this was a terrible idea. Then we find out that Terry's actually pregnant, and suddenly Will's talking about quitting to become an accountant because he needs to make more money and there's just not enough money in teaching. Meanwhile, Finn is actually getting bullied for being in the Glee Club, and he's just about ready to bail until he sees the football team trapping Artie in a portaloo and decides that maybe this is worth fighting for. He saves Artie, apologizes to the group, and commits to staying. Emma shows Will an old video of his high school Glee Club days, and this is definitely making him emotional and making him realize why he's doing what he's doing. He then walks into the auditorium and sees the New Directions performing Don't Stop Believin, and Will realizes that he can't quit now, not when they could win nationals. Now, Don't Stop Believin is of course absolutely synonymous with the Glee franchise. I remember when the first episode of Glee came out, the song Don't Stop Believin actually began charting again for the first time in like years. That's how popular that's how popular the pilot episode of Glee was. And the song Don't Stop Believin, they would continue to beat that dead horse throughout the entire rest of the series. Like, they just sing Don't Stop Believin so much. I actually don't like that song anymore because I'm so sick of it, because I've heard the Glee cast perform it so many times. But as I said, I really, really liked this episode. It was just, oh my God. I remember watching this episode for the first time. Chills. It was so good. Rachel Berry walking up to the audition, putting a star next to her name and saying, I'm Rachel Berry and I sign a star next to my name because everything's a metaphor and I'm a star. Oh, I'm absolutely butchering that quote, but you know what I mean. The girls who know, you know. Oh, it was so good. It was just funny, quick, unhinged, but just so good. And it has that earnestness to it. Like, it felt wholesome to watch it. Like, that scene of them performing Don't Stop Believin, it genuinely did feel wholesome. It was just so good. I love this show so much, so that's why I had to include the pilot. Moving on to the next episode, and that is Journey to Regionals, which is season 1 episode 22. We open with a flashback of the scandal of McKinley High, the night that Quinn Fabray lost her virginity to Noah Puckerman while she was dating Finn Hudson, who at that point literally thought someone could get pregnant from a hot tub. Cut to the present day, and Sue Sylvester casually drops that she is going to be one of the judges for regionals alongside Josh Groban and Olivia Newton-John and local news anchor Rod Remington. The Glee kids are of course instantly panicked because if they don't place, Principal Figgins is shutting them down for good. This is also a threat that we have throughout the whole series, is that like, oh, if we don't place at sectionals, we're going to get shut down. If we don't place at regionals, they're going to shut down the Glee Club. Like, it's just like an ongoing thing throughout the whole series. Freshly separated from his wife, Will goes to Emma for emotional support, only to find out that she's now dating her dentist, Carl. Regionals kicks off with Oral Intensity performing a mashup of Magic and You Raise Me Up, because what better way to impress the judges than by performing their own songs back to them? They definitely got a tip off about who the judges would be. Then it's time for the New Directions to have their turn, and Finn literally drops an I love you to Rachel right before they go on stage, which Finn and Rachel was the relationship throughout all of season 1 that was kind of the will they, won't they. And oh my gosh, when Finn told Rachel he loves her, like right before they went on stage at regionals, I was like, oh my God. They go for, of course, a full Journey tribute with Any Way You Want It / Love and Touch and Squeezin', and of course, Don't Stop Believin. Like I said, they really beat that dead horse for another 6 seasons. Meanwhile, Quinn's mum shows up and tells her she kicked out Quinn's dad and invites Quinn to come back home because Quinn was living with Mercedes, because when her parents found out she was pregnant, they of course kicked her out, but her mum is back and she's like, no, you can come back now. I've kicked out your dad. Only for Quinn to respond with, my water just broke. Chaos. She is rushed to the hospital to deliver baby Beth, and in the most Glee twist ever, Shelby Corcoran, the coach of Vocal Adrenaline and Rachel's biological mother, decides to quit coaching to adopt Beth and ride off into the sunset. Also, the casting of Idina Menzel and Leah Michelle as mother-daughter, gagged. Oh my gosh, they look so related. Perfect. And their voices, oh my gosh, their voices sound incredible together. Excellent mother-daughter casting. Back at regionals, Rachel stays behind to watch the performance of Vocal Adrenaline, and they do an incredible rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody. This is absolute cinematic masterpiece. Basically what they do is they intersect Vocal Adrenaline performing Bohemian Rhapsody with Quinn giving birth, and she's like screaming, and it's like, let me go, we will not let you go, and she's like, ah, she's like giving birth. It's so good. It's actually so good. Like, whoever decided that in the editing room, it is absolute cinema excellence. So the judges deliberate and hand the win to Vocal Adrenaline, with Oral Intensity second and New Directions dead last. Figgins is ready to pull the plug on the Glee Club. Will tells the kids how special they are, something he does repeatedly throughout the season, and he actually kisses Emma and then accepts defeat, until Sue has a rare human moment and turns out that she actually voted for the New Directions to win and cuts a deal with Figgins to give them another year. Her reasoning, although she hates Will, she respects what he's doing for the kids. And this is also what we love about Sue Sylvester. She is so evil, like genuinely jail. However, she does have these like rare, softer, compassionate moments that just makes her such a compelling character. Season 1 closes out with Will telling the club that they've been saved and performing Over the Rainbow with Puck. It's sweet, it's sappy, and now New Directions live to see another day. The next episode on my list I meant to say list. The next episode on my list is widely regarded as the best episode of Glee, and that is the Britney episode, season 2, episode 2. We start with Will Schuster giving the kids another boring assignment where they're doing an artist that they don't really care about, and the kids are unimpressed. Kurt casually announces that there's a Facebook petition to get the Glee Club to perform Britney Spears at the homecoming assembly. Will shuts it down immediately because, according to him, Britney Spears is a bad role model. Brittany, the student, as in Brittany from the show, backs him up, but only because her full name is Britney S. Pierce. So she is also Britney Spears, and Britney Spears has been haunting her whole life because she will never live up to Britney Spears' stardom. This was such a great moment, and this is really where we get to see the character of Britney shine. Up to this point, Britney was somewhat of a background character, but from this episode onwards, she really shines and becomes a series favorite.
Why no Brittany?
Because my name is also Britney Spears.
What?
What the hell is she talking about?
My middle name is Susan, my last name is Pierce. That makes me Britney S. Pierce, Britney Spears. I've lived my entire life in Britney Spears' shadow. I will never be as talented or as famous. I hope you'll all respect that I want Glee Club to remain a place where I, Britney S. Pierce, can escape the torment of Britney Spears.
Well, there you have it, guys. It's been decided. No Brittany. Sorry.
Thanks, Britt. Thanks a lot.
Leave Brittany alone.
Thank you for understanding. It's been a hard road.
Will goes into Emma's office to talk about the whole Britney Spears dilemma, only to meet her very attractive new boyfriend, Carl, who is played by John Stamos. Like, again, excellent casting, and another crazy guest starring appearance. Carl offers to talk to the Glee Club about dental hygiene, which is super random, but I guess they needed a way to kind of shoehorn this whole like hallucination plot into the story, so that's how they did it. So basically, a bunch of the Glee kids need to go to the dentist to get some dental treatments, cue the anesthesia, and crazy Britney Spears hallucinations. Britney goes under and suddenly she's performing I'm a Slave for You, full Python, sweat and choreography. This Glee cover is absolutely immaculate, and I think is one of the first things that started to make Britney become a fan favorite. Heather Morris as Britney is just incredible. Like, God, she can move. She's such a great dancer, and she just absolutely kills this performance. Britney then emerges from her dental hallucinogenic fever dream feeling empowered. She is ready to slay Britney Spears. Meanwhile, Rachel is spiraling over Finn rejoining the football team because she's kind of worried they're in this perfect little bubble, and she's worried that if he joins the football team, he's going to become really popular again and drop her like a sack of potatoes. She also goes to the dentist and has a hallucination that she's performing Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. Again, another iconic performance. After that, she also feels empowered, so she starts dressing like Britney Spears from the Baby One More Time music video. When she's walking through the school, all of the guys in her school are going absolutely feral for her, and she's kind of got this newfound popularity because she's dressed like Britney Spears. And because she's got this newfound confidence and popularity, she goes back to Finn and she's like, yeah, you can join the football team. Like, that's fine by me, because Finn is like, oh my God, cover up. And she's like, no, like, join the football team. I'm fine now. Also, she's dressed so inappropriately for school. Artie also goes under at the dentist and he hallucinates the song Stronger and somehow ends up on the football team with Finn. However, now with Finn back on the football team, Rachel is yet again jealous of his renewed popularity and basically gets Quinn to seduce him as a test. It's so toxic and insecure. Rachel realizes that she overreacted and sings The Only Exception as an apology. This is also a Yap Trap certified banger and is in the playlist. I loved this cover so much. I was obsessed with it. This episode is not a great episode for Will Schuester. He acts so cringe in this episode. It's honestly a hard watch because he's really trying to win back Emma from her new boyfriend. Emma tells Will to loosen up, so he goes out and buys a Corvette that is the exact same as Emma's boyfriend's car, and it's so cringe. Will also finally caves and lets the club perform Toxic at the school assembly because he wants to impress Emma, so he joins in on the performance. Disgusting. But basically the performance is so like sexy, it makes all of the students like super horny, and there's basically a horny riot in the school because all of the students are like going crazy over this performance of Toxic, and Sue has to set off the fire alarm to break it up, and of course she sustains an injury and she threatens to sue Will. The Glee Club are banned from doing Britney numbers ever again, which is an absolute travesty because the Glee Club failed to perform Circus, which is such a banger. I would have loved to see a Glee cover of Circus. So yeah, this episode is definitely very highly regarded. It's got some great performances. The costumes are absolutely outstanding. The songs are incredible. And also it's just really funny. I feel like season 2 is definitely the peak of Glee, and we have so many great episodes, which is further evidenced by my next episode, which is the Rocky Horror Glee Show. Season 2, episode 5. Now, this is actually my favorite all-time episode of Glee. I don't care if you agree or disagree, but I just think this is such a good episode of Glee. This is Glee at its finest. It is quintessential Glee. Costumes, stunning. Storylines, hilarious. So this episode opens up on a close-up of Santana's bright red lips singing science fiction / double feature against a black background, because this episode is committing to the Rocky Horror Picture Show immediately. Smash cut to the Glee Club rehearsing over the Frankenstein place, only for Dr. Carl to storm in and accuse Will of trying to steal Emma from him. Cue the flashback. So it turns out that Emma and Carl went to a midnight screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and there was people throwing like food all around, and this somehow helped Emma with her OCD. And so Will decides that the perfect way to impress her is to get the Glee Club to perform the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is so inappropriate. He casts Rachel and Finn as Brad and Janet, Mike Chang as Frankenfurter, and the new kid Sam as Rocky. Finn is super uncomfortable with his costume, which is basically him standing there in his underwear, which again, why would you get a high school student to put this show on? It is so inappropriate. I digress though, it's still my favorite episode. Mike's parents also agree that it's highly inappropriate for a high schooler to perform this, and they pull him out of the show. So Mercedes steps in as Frankenfurter, and oh my god, Mercedes Jones as Frankenfurter performing Sweet Transvestite, absolutely stunning. Yap Trap certified Glee banger. Oh my gosh, that is such a good song. This is my favorite song to play at the gym. It is such a good cover. Like, I see you shiver with anticipation. So good. Will is now fully spiraling with jealousy over Carl and decides that he'll now play Rocky. And in order to play Rocky, he simply must rehearse the song Toucha Toucha Touch Me with Emma Pillsbury. And this is also somehow represented as romantic and hot instead of completely inappropriate. This is so inappropriate, but Toucha Toucha Touch Me Glee cover version is actually my favorite Glee cover of all time. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love this cover so much in the context of the show. So inappropriate, disgusting. Will Schuester, jail. The cover though, such a good cover. To become more comfortable with his costume, Finn actually tries walking through the school in his underwear, and of course they threaten to suspend him because that's incredibly inappropriate. We then finally come full circle back to the opening scene where Carl confronts Will about his motives, and Will finally admits that maybe, just maybe, this whole production wasn't about the art, but Will is actually desperate. Will realizes how embarrassing his desperation is and how inappropriate it is for kids to perform this musical, and decides that they are not going to perform the musical as a whole, but they're just going to perform it for themselves because they've worked so hard, they've rehearsed it, they've already got the costumes, so they just perform it for themselves. And the episode ends with everyone in full costume doing the time warp. Now moving on to season 2, episode 14, Blame It on the Alcohol, and I think this is my second ever favorite episode of Glee. It is so good. McKinley High is having a bit of a teen drinking problem, so of course Principal Figgins commissions the Glee Club to do a performance for the whole school about the dangers of alcohol. Sue has an absolute zinger in this episode and goes, unfortunately, the chipper homosexual that coaches oral intensity had a trip down the stairs, and she's like pushes him down the stairs. Oh, love her. Meanwhile, Rachel is trying to write original music and performs the absolutely iconic original song, My Headband. My Headband. She performs this song to Finn, who is less than impressed, and she realizes that she needs to experience life a little more so she can actually write good music. This results in Puck convincing her to host a house party with her parents out of town. So the entire Glee Club shows up to Rachel's party, including Kurt and Blaine, and everyone except for Kurt and Finn gets absolutely wasted. It's such a good episode. I love this episode of Glee so much. I think I was like 14 when this episode came out, so watching it, I was a little scandalized, not gonna lie. It was so good. Rachel and Blaine, mid-spin the bottle, share a long kiss, then karaoke their way through Don't You Want Me, another certified Yap Trap Glee banger. I don't make the rules. Actually, I do. It's my playlist. And these are all great Glee covers. Come Monday, the club rolls into school hungover and performs Blame It on the Alcohol. So good. Again, I know I just said Touch Me was my favorite Glee cover, but now I'm like, wait, maybe Blame It on the Alcohol is my favorite Glee cover because it's so good. However, Will thinks that it's too pro-drinking for the assembly, so he declines it. But then lets Coach Beast drag him into a cowboy bar where they do 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, 1 beer. Again, anytime Will Schuster is singing, it's a skip for me. Like, I'm sorry. It's just a fast forward. Like, we're fast forwarding through that. But he gets absolutely plastered and then goes home and marks some papers and gives everyone an A+, and then proceeds to drunk dial Emma, who is still in a relationship with Carl. Except he didn't actually drunk dial Emma. He accidentally drunk dialed Sue, who plays the message over the school PA system icon. In the meantime, Rachel asks Blaine out because she now has a crush on him, which drives Kurt up the wall. Understandably so. Kurt has been so open about the fact that he has a massive crush on Blaine, and only for Rachel to then go after Blaine, that's not a girl's girl. Blaine, talking to Kurt, tells Kurt that he might be bisexual, and Kurt does not react well to this at all. And also Kurt insists that bisexuality isn't real, which is a big yikes, and Glee has been criticized for this. Blaine then says to Kurt as he's leaving, I would say bye, but I don't want to upset you. The writing in this show is lethal. So the assembly arrives and New Directions perform Key, $, Tick, and also Talk. It all goes sideways when Brittany and Santana literally vomit on stage. Ironically, Figgins actually thinks the whole performance was intentional and that it's like Oscar-worthy fake vomit, and he like applauds the Glee Club and is like, this is great. We haven't had any drinking because everyone is so disturbed by your performance that there's been less teen drinking. Well done. Realizing his own hypocrisy, Will makes the whole club pledge to not drink until after nationals, promising to also not drink with them and pick them up from anywhere if they do slip up and they need a lift home. Finally, at the Lima Bean, Rachel kisses Blaine again, sober this time, and he realizes, nope, he is 100% gay. Rachel, instead of being crushed, is absolutely thrilled and thinks that getting dumped by a gay guy is songwriting goal. So I guess it all worked out in the end. Okay, so I have just recapped 5 episodes for you, and we are already 40 minutes into this episode, so I do not think I can do another 5 episodes. I think I am going to have to do this episode over 2 separate parts and do the remainder of my top 5 episodes in a separate episode. I'm sorry. This episode is just going to be far too long, and you know, I got to edit this. I've got to sit there and listen to my own voice. So I think that is where I'm going to finish it off with doing the episode recaps. So I do apologize for only doing 5 episodes instead of 10 episodes, but I'll just have to do another part. So those are the top 5 episodes of Glee of all time. You will note that there are no episodes in there from seasons 4 to 6. I do love some episodes of season 3, but season 1 and 2 are just the best. But I think that signifies that season 2 is just the superior season of Glee. It really found its footing in season 2, and there are just so many great episodes in season 2. The writing is just on point. The covers were just absolutely incredible, and I loved it so much. Glee really is such a special show for me and has such a place in my heart. I really, really adored this show. As I said, I think I watched it at such an important time in my life, like developmentally. And honestly, when Glee came out, there was not a show like it. Like, it was so special and so unique, and the characters were so unique. It was incredibly diverse for its time as well. I know that it only came out in 2009, but even having a relationship on there like Kurt and Blaine, Santana and Brittany, that was so honestly groundbreaking for the time. And although there are so many offensive, absurd, and absolutely insane plot lines on Glee, I just love it so much. And I think, like, although it has aged horrifically in some instances, there is some gold in there. And the 5 episodes that I spoke about today are absolute gold. Please check out those episodes. They are so good. And yeah, I would absolutely love to know your favorite episodes of Glee. Am I missing any episodes? Like I said, I could only do my top 5, and I do have some more episodes in season 3, even one episode in season 4 and one episode in season 6 that I really, really like as well. But yeah, let me know what your favorite episodes are. I would love to know who's your favorite character and what's your favorite Glee cover. My favorite Glee cover, I think, is a tie between Touch a Touch a Touch Me and Blame It on the Alcohol. Absolutely iconic. So I am going to round out this episode with some Glee related recommendations. Again, I'm going to plug my playlist, Yap Trap Certified Glee Bangers. Such a good playlist. Such a good playlist. And if you want Glee to be in your Spotify Wrapped, check out the playlist because that will do it. That'll do it. And then there are 2 YouTube videos that I want to recommend, and that is Mike's Mike, an appropriately unhinged recap of Glee Part 1 and Part 2. Each part is like 2 hours. And if you want to relive the Glee glory, please check out this episode. He is so funny and the video is so well done. The next episode I'm going to recommend is by Hosh On, and it's called Who is the Worst Person on Glee? And basically he goes through Glee and accumulates points for the different actions of people on Glee. He subtracts points for bad behavior and then gives points for good behavior, I think, or something like that. So as you can imagine, Sue Sylvester is like negative 50,000 and Will is like negative 30,000. But it's just it's such an interesting way to revisit the series because there are actually so many unhinged plot points on this TV show, and it's a really great way to display that. Anyway, that is where I'm going to wrap up this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had the best time recording this episode, and it just flew by. Like when I looked up and I saw that I was 45 minutes deep into the recording, I was like, oh shit, I need to wrap this up. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely have to do more Glee podcast episodes again in the future because there's so much more I want to touch on Glee. Like I want to explore the cultural phenomenon of Glee and really talk more so about the behind the scenes and the cast of Glee rather than the show itself. So if that's something that interests you, please let me know. If you want to hear the remainder of my top 10 Glee episodes, then also let me know because I will do a separate episode about that as well. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate this episode 5 stars and leave a review. I may start to read out the reviews on future episodes. So if you would like your review to be read aloud, leave a review. Leave a review, please. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, and also please tell a friend about the show as well. If you've got a friend that loves TV, entertainment, gossip, celebrity drama, please recommend them the podcast. It's a very new podcast, so any help is much, much appreciated. But thank you so much for spending your time listening to this podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back next week. Bye.